were destroyed in the first Gulf War. But I think what people are really frustrated about is while we may have had a strategy for the war, there really wasn't a strategy for the peace. And we sent people over who had very little experience and said, here, build a country. And we sent contractors over with pockets full of money and said, you know, take as much as you want and we'll check in on you a little later. And I think that that's where things started to go so wrong. And, you know, we can look back at what's gone on with the war over the past 3 years as much as we want, but I think it's really important now to look forward, to come up with a strategy, and to figure out how to keep the country safe.
Do the Democrats, is there a parallel to 1994? Do the Democrats have a, quote, contract with America?
Well, I think the Democrats have a list of things. Nancy Pelosi's been talking about their first 100 days. The Center for American Progress has put out a list of things that should happen in the first 100 days as well. And I think that there is a list of things that should have happened over the past decade, should have happened over the past 6 years, that finally, if we can get people working together, we can push forward on. Healthcare, minimum wage, employment, all the biggies.
Hopkinton, New Hampshire.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I've never met a Republican that can have a civil conversation. Miss Christie, I'm wondering, I'm independent. I voted for Democrats because I wanted to see some investigations going on. I mean, you start with the stolen election in 2000, Catherine Harris, Diebold, go all the way to, you know, I believe Ohio was the same thing. I mean, we have forgeries that got us into this war. Is there anybody besides John Murtha that's talking about doing some investigations and getting some of these people where they belong? I'm even interested in seeing them done in The Hague. Thank you.
Slippery slope there. I think that the worst thing that we can do right now is to get completely mired down in finger-pointing and investigations and, well, you said this and you said that. I don't think that everyone should get a free pass. I think that there are things that really need oversight, especially ongoing things, like some of the corruption scandals, like the oversight of the contractors in Iraq. Those are important. Those are ongoing. But I know you're not going to like me for saying this. I think we need to be really careful with the investigation cycle.
Hugh Hewitt.
Christy, do you think Diebold is a conspiracy to steal elections?
You know, I can be a little wackadoodle myself sometimes. I love a good conspiracy theory, but I'm not quite sold on that one yet.
I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
There are some election irregularities.
But
I do think there are some big problems.
This is your party's problem. If you've got a bunch of people running around the country talking to themselves in their sleep about Diebold, no. It's going to show up on the House floor in about a week.
We're going to have to end the discussion there. Thank you very much, both of you, for being on the Washington Journal, and we hope to have you both back real soon.
Thanks,
Rob.
In a little while, we're going to be talking with Senator Ben Nelson, Democrat of Nebraska, about the hearing in the Armed Services Committee yesterday and other issues regarding Democrats and Iraq policy. But first, we want to check back in with Tim Curran at Roll Call. Tim, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us about Senator Reid plotting the agenda. That's the off lead this morning.
Right, playing off of what you guys were just talking about the Democratic agenda and the possibility of investigations. One thing Harry Reid made clear yesterday was that there would be no talk or push for impeaching the president in the Senate. He put his case for that very succinctly, saying, you know, basically it comes down to two words why they don't want impeachment: Dick Cheney. But he did lay out a lot of things that Democrats will try to pursue in the 110th Congress. A lot of those weren't surprises, you know, giving the Medicare authorities the opportunity to bargain for lower drug prices from the companies, things like that. What was a little bit of a surprise is he put election reform at the center of the Democratic agenda. He talked about voting irregularities. He talked about cracking down on so-called robocalls, which a lot of people complained about in the latter stages of this past election. And he brought up something that's not going to make a lot of Democrats happy, and that is 527 reform. These are the committees that can spend or raise these unlimited chunks of money, which are not quickly disclosed in terms of their sources, that have plagued both parties in recent elections. Democrats stood in the way of efforts to crack down on them in the past Congress. It looks like Reid is going to put himself in the middle of a storm in his own party